the fisheries, based on clear sectoral and technological roadmaps, taking into account consultation with fisheries management agencies, large and small fisheries, the scientific community, coastal communities, and other relevant stakeholders to find a joint solution that will allow for a fair transition of fisheries to a digitalization system. The increased use of digital tools will contribute to improving ongoing monitoring, control, and supervision in fisheries, improving marine biodiversity, protecting endangered species of the biosphere, and more sustainable fisheries in European waters, leading the reliable food chains, healthy food, and healthy Europe. The project team involves 7 companies with a division of responsibility for the performance of the envisaged work. Communication within the consortium is considered as a key process that forms the basis of project management. Project communication is an effective exchange of information during which some project participants transmit to others any data related to the achievement of the project goals. Communication processes, tools of diagnosing, identifying problems, and eliminating them are essential for effective project management. Project communications management includes the tasks and procedures necessary to meet the information needs of the project consortium members. The European Technology Chamber organizes this communication on the exchange of information, promotion, and commercialization of advanced technologies with involvement of leading experts in various sectors of economy. In our case, focused on fisheries. UTEC is participating in FishX project um, with other participants of the consortium. We are creating and implementing a program including communication, dissemination, and exploitation. Its main components are digital, physical, and hybrid events, creation of white papers and roadmaps, and interaction with all key players in fisheries. To all companies who are working on this project will be given the floor today to present their parts of work. I would like to introduce our distinguished speakers and the first, it's our Fish X coordinator, the company Martech Schleswig-Holstein, Germany, Kiel, and our distinguished coordinator and project manager, Marius Helter. Marius,
Hello, everyone.
you come to the world.
Yeah, don't want to say much now because we have some slides later on. But yeah, a warm welcome also from our side to everybody. And it's great to have so many people for the first webinar here. So yeah, thank you, Igor. Igor, just one quick thing. Your slides are not visible right now.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Just a moment. Just a moment. Everything will be okay. And now, yes?
Nope.
No. Yes, you have it, yeah?
Yes, we can see it.
Very good.
Can you jump here? Because for me, it doesn't show up.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yes, Marius.
I got it. Got it. My bad.
We are with big attention, we are listening to you.
Ah, okay. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Igor, again. And again, yeah, a warm welcome from the north of Germany to everybody out there. My name is Mario Salta from the Transmatec Center for Transfer of Maritime Technologies, yeah, up in Kiel, in Germany. And we are the coordinator of this FishX project, of this EU project. And Igor, could you go to the next page? So I'm just gonna briefly, yeah, say a few things about the mission of the project. The other speakers will also participate to that later on in their parts, and then in discussion we can also go a bit deeper into it. But basically, yeah, our motto or our goal is transparent fisheries for a resilient ocean. We believe in a common responsibility to foster sustainable fisheries and marine biodiversity. That was something that came up during the kickoff for the project that we had in June this year. And so basically what we aim to do is to develop a data space, a platform, a digital platform that we call FishX, as a central platform to monitor fishing activities within Europe, especially. So as this is a EU project and we are European companies, that's where we want to start out. And one of the big parts of that is also to create some data sovereignty within Europe, to have local data under local controls, basically. And Igor, can you go a bit further down? Just because there's one point missing. No, one up. I had 3 bullet points on the. No, up. The slide that I was on, yeah.
Here.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Tackling IUU. There's one bullet point that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we want to tackle IUU fishing activities through new technologies, affordable, accessible technologies, though, and some of you might think now is, oh my God, they just want to restrict us even more. They just want to control us even more. What we actually want to really focus on is to use new technology, not just to increase the monitoring and of what is going on in terms of fishing activities, but especially also focus on the fisheries and help them to give them more credibility towards the user by creating more transparency in the supply chain of fish, basically, and fish stocks and what the end consumer has on their table. So if you go on the next slide. So it's, as I said, it's an EU project. We have the project number down there as well. It's gonna go for 36 months, so 3 years. And it's a total volume of about 6 million euros. Of that, we have 4.5 million euros funded by the EU. And what we applied for with this project, like the call was the farm to fork call, project from the opening from the EU under the farm to fork strategy, which is about creating more sustainable and resilient farm to fork strategies, basically. And it's a consortium of 7 partners. Each of them will introduce themselves now, so I'm not going to say too much about that. And if you go on the next slide, just a few words about Transmatec again. So we are quite a young company, started out last year. And we are an incubator for maritime innovation. So we work closely together both with science and with economy. We have contacts to marine research institutes, but also companies working in the maritime and the marine sector. So we're actually really trying to foster the collaboration between science and business. And we are especially focused also on supporting small and medium enterprises. As I said, quite new. We started last year, and we're also a funded project by the European Regional Development Fund. If you go on the next slide. And yeah, as Igor mentioned already, our role in this project is we are the coordinator, so we are responsible for the project management. Everyone here in the consortium has their specialties and their parts that they contribute to the project. So we are mostly overlooking the activities and trying to coordinate as good as possible. So we are also the contact or point of contact for the European Commission. And right now I'm having the project lead with my colleague together, Robin Zilpin, who's also here in the room listening in. So hi there. And next week we're gonna get a new person on the project who will take it over. It's Dr. Fabian Wright. He's from the GeoMar Institute for Ocean Research. So yeah, and then any questions later on, we're happy to answer and discuss. Thank you, Igor.
Thank you very much, Marius, for your very, very interesting presentation. I am sure we will have many questions. They are coming already, yes. But now we would like to invite our distinguished Jean-Pierre Kozak from France, from CLS company, a big company with many projects, and Jean-Pierre is a very, very experienced project manager who participated in many significant European projects. Jean-Pierre, you're welcome.
Thank you, Igor, and thank you to the audience to be here this morning. I would like to say a few words about who is CLS and what we are doing in the FishX project. Could you move to the next slide? Next, okay. So CLS is a company with a strong dedication to environment monitoring based on space solutions. To understand and protect the planet and manage resources on a sustainable way. Basically, we have 5 different business units. Not too fast. One about environmental monitoring, which is developing oceanographic models, for instance, which are contributing to the climate change studies. One business unit where I belong, which is dedicated to sustainable fisheries management. We are developing solutions for governments to monitor the fishing activity, and 3 other business units also related to environment in different industry branches. Next. Okay, we are present in 34 different sites in the world. You will see on the map that we are in all big fishing nations. China, Southeast Asia, Latin America, USA, and with a strong permanent base in France and in Europe. Next slide. Okay. For fisheries, we deliver turnkey solutions to Ministry of Fisheries, governments, mainly regional fisheries management organizations, RFMOs, and also to the fishing industry. Which purpose is the monitoring of the fishing activity. So the main activity is the vessel monitoring system, VMS, to track the position of fishing vessels on a global scale. Electronic reporting system, so the fishermen can send on an electronic application their daily logbook directly to their company or to the monitoring state. And also fishery monitoring centers, which are the application for governments to get the positions of all the fishing vessels. We are developing oceanographic models, I mentioned before, but also we are developing fish stock model, in particular for all tuna species. And we are just starting an activity related to electronic monitoring. We do not manufacture and we do not deliver these electronic monitoring system cameras on board fishing vessels, but we are working on the integration of significant events from this EM system into our monitoring centers. And we have special applications for detection of illegal fishing vessels based on satellite images. I could explain later on. Among our clients at the moment, we are proud to have GFCM, which is the Global Fisheries Commission for the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. You probably know that the Mediterranean Sea is the most exploited sea in the world, so with a very big traffic. And we have delivered a solution with a capability to monitor up to 60,000 fishing vessels. Next slide. So what we are going to do in this FishX project, we are going to develop the Insight platform. This will be a very easy access web-based platform with marine charts. It will allow you to travel in space and time. You will see different areas in the world, in particular a strong focus on European waters for sure. You will be able to travel in time to see some seasonal changes in activities. And this platform is going to display various fishing activities based on vessel monitoring systems, position of the fishing vessels, based on automatic analysis using artificial intelligence of these fishing activities. Oh, you change the slide. Okay, thanks. Based on reports, electronic reports from fishing activities, for instance, and other sources of information. What is important is that we want to keep the fishermen privacy on top of the list. So we want to protect their privacy, and we don't want to display any vessel name or any individual track that could be used to recognize a given fishing vessel. It's a difference with some other systems that you find on the internet at the moment. So the platform is going to connect to different sources of information. And as mentioned below, we are looking at the moment for partnerships with European companies in the field of fisheries, and also with institutions like marine science institutes, like DG Mare, like national fisheries institutions, etc. Next. So the platform will look a little bit like this. In the circle in the middle, we concentrate all sources of information. This platform is hosted on a cloud. My colleague Johan Wendt will explain a little bit later. Simon is going to explain a little bit later on how we are going to operate this cloud in full sovereignty and security. On this platform, we collect data and we run some artificial intelligence tools. And collecting all this information, we can deliver live monitoring information, some notification of IUU fishing. We can study some seasonal changes and trends and produce some statistics. The audience for this platform is very open. This is the reason why we want to protect the privacy of the fishermen at the source of information. The first target is all fisheries administrations and institutions and scientific centers, but also we would like that fishing companies find valuable information like environmental situation, for instance, and also I would say the general audience, students, every people who is actually interested in the fish stocks and the sustainability of fish stocks. Next. So basically, there will be marine charts with fishing statistics, fishing effort, for instance. You see on this example, we aggregate the information so you don't recognize one single particular vessel. On the right side, there will be environmental information. In this one, this is a model showing the distribution of micronecton, which is the food for the large pelagic fish. It's a species which is in between plankton and the big targeted fish. So we are specialized in developing such models. So this information can be correlated with fishing activities, with fish vessel presence, etc. Among other information that we would like to collect, you will see vessel tracking data, what we call VMS, electronic logbook. And also I mentioned about electronic monitoring events. Electronic monitoring are those cameras, CCTVs, which are installed increasingly on fishing vessels to monitor the fishing activities, in particular any risk of bycatch, for instance. And these systems are able to generate specific events when something happens. And we are going to try to develop some standards for integration of these events into this mapping system. Also, we are going to collect information from the fishing gears. So when nets are equipped with electronic sensors, we would like to integrate this information into the maps. Next slide. Next. Okay. We will try to benchmark our Insight platform with Global Fishing Watch. I don't know if everyone is familiar with this platform, which has been designed by Google and by some environmental NGO from the US. Global Fishing Watch is a very powerful tool to display fishing activities, but it's a little bit beyond the privacy rules which are applicable in Europe, I would say. In particular, you can get down to a single vessel activity, and not every fisherman likes to see his activity on an open platform. So into our system, we will be very careful not to display names, identification of very specific vessels. We are going to keep the information anonymized. Next. And at the end of the project, on the second half, the second part of the project, we are going to implement use cases demonstrations. We are at the moment discussing with WWF and CINA in Portugal to address very specific situations of small-scale fisheries, SSF, which are facing some overexploitation or unfair competition from recreational fisheries. And we are going to implement electronic tracking devices, electronic reporting information, so that we can monitor and improve the condition of these small-scale fishing communities and integrate all this information in real time or near real time into the Insight platform. So you see the example of tracking device that will be installed on those small boats, which is used for tracking and also for requests for assistance, for instance. And I think that's it.
Yes,
so thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your attention and for your very, very interesting presentation. Now we would like to introduce the company North IO. Yes. Mr. Dr. Simon van der Wulp. You're welcome.
Yes. Sir. Thank you very much. My name is Simon van der Wulp. A quick introduction is I've got a background in natural sciences, mostly coastal engineering, hydrodynamics, and my experience with fish in the end goes to aquaculture and nutrient emissions, which doesn't really apply to this project directly. But like currently I'm research coordinator at North.io. And if you would change the next slide. Yes, good. North.io is a software developer focusing on big data, artificial intelligence, and mostly also geoinformation, so spatial data and data sets. We've got an origin mostly in marine data, the storage and the processing, and our expertise goes out there a lot to decision support systems and actually mostly focusing on munition at sea and land-based munitions, which is also not project related. But since we're dealing with marine data, we got a lot of experience towards the data storage, the processing, and co-initiated the Marispace X project. They already see an X coming in, focused on the Gaia X standards, meaning that we're focusing on data storage with specific standards. And the FishX project is also not directly related, but in parallel to this Marispace X project, where we would like to create a FishX data space. Now, let me quickly explain to you and also hook up to what Jean-Pierre from CLS just mentioned. If you would like to change the slide, Igor. Yes, good. So within the FishX project, as said, you've already heard about the Insight platform and about the general intent of this project. And we are dealing, like North.io is dealing with the IT infrastructure, mostly based on the data storage. And for this, we're going to create a data space. Now, what is a data space? A data space is in the end an IT infrastructure where we can pool, where we can access, process, and use and share data. That's just the general part. And of course, since we're talking about fisheries, we're going to focus also on fisheries data. Fisheries data is mostly like scattered around, laying at individual parties, which are sort of maintaining this information. But it's very difficult to access it and to make it available to all the fisheries parties, from fishermen all the way up to authorities, to benefit from this data. So, in order to manage this data, which mostly is also how do you say it? Applies to like legal restrictions and data policies, privacy, etc., which we have to manage. So this is also one of the reasons why this data is not openly available, which is a good thing. So what we would like to do is create an infrastructure which is able to sort of share this data and make it available in such a way that all the standards, the privacy standards, etc., are maintained. So a data space is in the end an infrastructure to pool, to access, to process, and to share this data. And this is done on a federated approach. That means that each owner has got an autonomy over their own data. And let's say if you get multiple databases or multiple spaces where information is set, they can communicate and interact and function as, let's say, one data environment. Yeah? And in order to maintain the privacy and the responsible use of this data, we're going to apply the Gaia X standards, which implements a common set of policies and rules, which obtains transparency of the data, controllability, interoperability across the different data and the service, the people who use this data. And we manage the identities of the people who like we verify the identities of the people who access this data and to also share this data. And there's a trust component to this, meaning that we remove sensitive content to comply with regulations and policies which apply to this data. If you can move to the next slide. Yes. So in terms of transparent fisheries, once we've set up this infrastructure to be able to manage the data and to have the data owners to provide the data and the users in the end to process and to show the data, like for example the Insight platform, we of course need to make sure that we're going to have something suited to the fisheries. That means that we're going to work on different data standards, different data formats and standards to make this exchange possible. And within the project, we are going to identify what data would be there to set up this IT infrastructure and have this process of data, this data transfer from the owner to the different services to make this possible. And as said, what Jean-Pierre already indicated, for example, the Insight platform, but also to our colleagues from ours, which are going to focus on the traceability of fish products. We will make sure that, for example, all the monitoring data will arrive at this platform and will be able to be shared towards the different users. And of course, over in the future, this can be expanded to other data sources, other data flows, and other data users. So in the end, it will be an environment which will become available to a magnitude of stakeholders in the fisheries industry. So that's in short. Might be a bit abstract, but I hope it was informative to you.
Thank you very much, Simon. And now we are inviting firma OURZ and our distinguished Jonas Wendt.
Thank you so much, Igor. I'm really looking forward in the next 4 minutes to present you all what we from ours are doing and why we're doing so. I think you're not on the first slide of the presentation, Igor.
Sorry, a moment. Here, yeah?
This is not the first slide either. This is the first slide. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm the co-founder of ours. We're a German deep tech company. And as I said, I would really like to present you what we're doing, why we're doing so, and what we're doing in this PhishX project. So we from ours, we strive to bring truth for a new green food economy. Igor, please go to the next slide. We all know that our economy is creating problems, right? Rainforest destruction, child slavery, and illegal fishing are just a few of the many challenges we're facing. And even though we have more than 1,000 eco-labels in Germany alone, it seems that we can't really get the grip upon these problems. And we from ours, as many others, asked ourselves, why so? Because when we look at it from another angle, it all seems different. Go to the next slide, please. I mean, consumers want sustainable products. Next slide. You can go forward. Regulators want sustainable supply chains. And brands, next slide, just want to sell products. So truly, where is the problem here? In our opinion, next slide, the problem is that nobody knows from where or whom their food is coming from. And this means that bad actors can fall below minimum standards to gain a competitive price advantage, putting all the others under pressure to do the same. And good consumers who want to consume sustainable, and there are many of them, are just missing the tools to identify the truly sustainable food. Next slide, please. This is why we created a blockchain and AI-enabled traceability platform, which allows really easy, swiftly plug-and-play traceability of food products. Information on the platform are immutable and analyzed via different mechanisms, for example, pattern recognition for potential fraud. And the platform itself is transforming the data into batch-specific product stories. So consumers at the point of sale or at home can scan a product and really see what happened, when and where, who has been involved with it. And they can build a deep trust, and trust is a really decisive purchasing factor and is influencing the willingness of consumers to pay higher prices for higher sustainability. Next slide, please. Yeah, since it's a PDF, videos are not included. Next slide, please. No worries, no worries. Yeah, in this video, we would have shown what we're doing in the PhishX project, but this is no problem at all. So as I already showed, we have a working traceability platform, but we are mainly working with African and South American smallhold farmers. And in this project, we really want to focus on creating the value we gave already other stakeholders to smallhold fisheries. So what we try to create is a traceability system, creating value for smallhold fisheries, where we really need to get into how can we collect the data necessary, how can we ensure the traceability necessary, and how can we communicate all the collected data, verified, in a trust-creating and engaging way to the European consumers to truly create the value for the small-scale fisheries. Next slide, please. So as I said, we are also not just focusing on data collection and data verification, but also on data communication, where we are also working deep tech with AI, object recognition, and so on. Next slide, please. When I say, next slide. When I say we, I mean it's the whole ours team. At the moment, we are about 9 people, but quite fast growing. And we are composed actually of supply chain experts deep tech experts and sustainability enthusiasts. And we are really looking forward in this consortium to change our blue economy for the better. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jonas. It was a perfect presentation, and now I would like to introduce you the company Ciena from Portugal and our distinguished Gonçalo Carvalho. Yes, Gonçalo. Gonçalo, are you here? Yes, I see that Gonçalo Carvalho is here, but we can't hear him, yes? Just a moment. So my suggestion is, Gonçalo, my suggestion is, Alexandra, that you will make your presentation now. Thank you. And Gonçalo will make it in the end. And it's a very, very important organization in our team, WWF, well-known organization in the whole world, but our distinguished speaker, Alexander Cornet, ocean officer of the WWF with big experience and with work on political activities of WWF and other organizations in France, will come to word. You're welcome, Alexander.
Hi, Igor. Thanks a lot for the introduction. Hi to everyone. Thanks for attending the webinar. Yeah, I'm from the WWF at the European Policy Office. So that's the office which is based in Brussels, which usually interacts with EU institutions and also ensure coordination of the WWF network in Europe in many different policy areas. Igor, can you go to the next slide, please? So just quickly about the organization. So I think many of you are familiar with us, but basically our mission is to stop the degradation of the planet's natural environment, and really to have a future in which humans live in harmony with nature. That's something that is very important for our organizations, both human and nature. Some of our key activities are to conserve the world's biological diversity. We also work in ensuring renewable use or sustainable use of the natural resources, and working on diverse issues such as pollution or wasteful consumptions, for instance. Next slide, please, Igor. Key facts about our organization. So we were founded in 1961, so quite some experience now. We are active in nearly 100 countries, so we benefit from a view across continents. We have about 5 million supporters and about 30 million social media followers, which is also important in terms of engagement. More specifically in Europe, because the project will mainly be dedicated to Europe. We have 22 national organizations, which mean we have offices in about 22 national countries, or we have program offices. And we have also sub-regional offices, for instance, Mediterranean Marine Initiative that tackles policy issues in the Med. Next slide, please, Igor. What we do, broadly speaking, about sustainable fisheries. First, what I wanted to mention is really that we are active at various levels. Really, we are engaging on the ground, for instance, with fishers, fishing communities, or processing communities, up to regional, EU, and global level. So, for instance, I work with EU institutions a lot, and we have colleagues as well at WWF International engaging with, for instance, United Nations body. We also engage with the variety of stakeholders, as I mentioned. So really the fishers, supply chain actors, authorities, policymakers, consumers. We're trying to see this as an integrated, we're trying to apply an integrated approach to what we do. There are various ways for us to act from field project. We also deliver trainings. Obviously, we do advocacy. That's a big part of my job in Brussels. Some of our colleagues also work on citizen mobilization. And the last thing we could mention is that whatever we do, we always try to apply some key values, including being science-based and evidence-based and results-oriented, which will be, guiding principle for this project because it's a research project, namely. Next slide, please, Igor. In terms of what we do, more specifically about EU fisheries policy, so of course we engage with the EU Common Fisheries Policy, which is the main legislation guiding fisheries in Europe. More specifically, we also engaged with IUU fishing, so illegal, unreported, and regulated fishing. So we have a very important piece of legislation, which is called the IUU regulation, and we are engaging to ensure it's properly implemented. At the moment, we have a lot of work ongoing with the revision of the control regulation, which is basically the piece of law that explains how fisheries and the seafood supply chain is controlled in Europe. And we're trying to make sure that it remains transparent and that it is improved through the revision of the legislation. And last but not least, fisheries, it always interacts with the various other policies, on marine biodiversity, for instance, conservation, spatial planning, and we're always trying to bring like a fisheries perspective in those questions as well. Next slide, please, Igor. So in a nutshell, what we will be doing in the project. So first, I just wanted to mention that there are 4 different WWF offices that are involved at various levels. So at the local level, we will be working with colleagues from WWF Adria, and more specifically with a colleague in Croatia, and with colleagues in ANP WWF Portugal as well. We will also be working with the WWF Mediterranean Marine Initiative, which is based in Italy, Rome. And basically, it's a policy office that addresses issues in the Med on both sides of the Med. And lastly, EU level through the WWF European Policy Office, which I'm representing. In practice, we will work with small case fishers and fishing communities and communities at a local level on what we call use cases. So basically, together with colleagues, namely from CLS, we will try to develop policies for better tracking and also to provide information to fishers about how they could, improve their fishing practices, what sort of information could help them in their daily lives, address issues that we could have at a local level, for instance, for marine conservation, etc. So that's one big part of what we will be doing. The other one is the engagement of stakeholders. We will need to engage with various policymakers, with authorities, with companies, to get data from different people to the users towards the platform. So that's a big chunk of it. We will provide policy analysis and advocacy because the work we are doing is very much related to a lot of legislations that are either being assessed or revised at the moment, for instance, the EU control regulation, and we are there to provide some expertise on the topic. I think that's what I wanted to mention in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Alexander. So I would like to remind our distinguished attendants that if you have some questions, please don't hesitate to write it in our public chat that you see in the left corner above on your screen. Dear Gonzalo, are you here? Can you hear us?
Gonzalo is in the room again. I think he rejoined because he had some technical issues, but he needs to be upgraded to a speaker again because right now, by your admins, Igor, because right now he's just as a standard participant, so he cannot share his video or his voice.
Gonzalo, okay.
But he's in the room.
Yes, Gonzalo. Gonzalo.
Yeah, you need to I don't know, Igor, who's doing the technical administration of the call on your side. So they need to give Gonzalo the speaker status again.
Okay. So Asmat, our technical support, please do it. please do it ASAP and give Gonzalo Carvalho the possibility to speak. Okay. Just a moment.
Gonzalo, can you try to speak now?
Yeah, he's only listening in.
Yeah. Sorry.
Make a presenter.
Gonzalo, do you hear us?
Igor, maybe we start with a few questions, and then when Gonzalo is ready, we come back to him.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
We
a very
should.
good idea. It's a very good idea. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, I see there are some questions in the chat who already are answered. Yes. Sorry. Okay, I think our technical support will do that. But absolutely, Jean-Pierre, we have to discuss some very important questions. And the first question that we have to clarify or to discuss about in what ways the project FishX will support the ongoing revision and more effective implementation of EU fisheries regulations. So this question of legal regulating of fisheries is very important as far as I know. Who could speak or who could make comments about it? Or Alexander?
Yeah, super quickly so that the others have the opportunity to input. But basically now, yeah, we are revising some rules about the control of fisheries at EU level, the EU control regulation. And there are quite a lot of debates on what tools we should adopt. So we should revise the rules on, for instance, VMS or cameras on board, etc. And most of the time, technology is already there and ready, but we need to demonstrate it at a larger scale so that we are really sure that this is embedded in the regulation now, because we have a chance to do it now. And that's where the projects comes in. We're going to use those tools which are ready, and we are going to prove that they are through the platform and through the projects.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Perfect. Sorry. Yes. And now I have yes. Another question. What kind of data will be integrated and analyzed for both platforms? About these platforms, our speakers talk today, yes? Who could answer this question?
I can say a few words.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Simon?
Jean-Pierre, please go. I think
Okay.
you're better on what data sets, yeah.
Okay, and also I can see there is a question from Patrick Murphy, which is also about data collection through EU coastal states and beyond. So we try to integrate data which are already recognized for fisheries management. We are not going to invent the super innovative data that would save everything. Today, the state of the art in fisheries monitoring is, first of all, you need to know where the vessels are, what they are doing, when they stop, when they start, which speed they progress, etc. So this information is already available for industrial vessels. This is not the case for small-scale fishing boats. I would say in Europe, the threshold is for boats which are shorter than 12 meters, in some places 10 meters. So we would like to show that we can integrate big volumes of vessel positioning data, and also give the opportunity to fishermen, in particular SSF fishermen, to use their smartphones. Today they use their smartphones for WhatsApp, for SMS, to talk to their buyers, and we would like to put them in practice of sending statistics, catch reports, special events, etc., to the platform, and always protecting their business privacy. And again, there will be environmental data, statistics, and historical data to see trends over years when they are available. And an additional feature, we are trying to integrate some, I mentioned already, some events which are coming from the cameras which are installed on board some of the vessels today, because the Commission considers that for many specific applications, the cameras will soon become necessary. So the idea is not to send a video like on YouTube or something like this. The idea is only to say, at this particular moment, at this particular location, they all the line, or they all the troll, and on board they get so many bycatch or something like this, so to be discussed. And the purpose is in this project to develop some standards, because it's very important that the system becomes interoperable. Interoperable means that you can buy any technology on the market which is dedicated to fisheries monitoring, and you can integrate it without any trouble. So we have to define standards, and EU is very strong at the moment in definition of fisheries standards like flux or things like this.
Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. Simon, Simon, you would like to add something, or Jonas?
Yeah, from my side, I think Jean-Pierre said it all.
Maybe
Thank
just
you.
to add
Jonas?
few words to, thank you so much. Maybe just to add some few words for the traceability. So the information for traceability, which are most important, is who, where, what, when, and how much.
Okay.
But actually, obviously, it becomes also really interesting, and this is a way more complicated question, the how. So how was it done? And this not just for the fisheries, but for all steps between the ocean and the table.
And yes. Thank you very much. And very important question, simple and important question. What are definitive aspects of fish X? The main aspects of fish X compared to existing monitoring systems in fisheries, because these monitoring systems exist, but they are not, they don't have efficiency, yes? They have to be improved, and it's the main task of FishX to do it on a new level, on a high level. Is it so? Do we understand it so? Because now we have some question about it, yeah? So, and now I get information that Gonzalo, I don't know, it was some technical issue, but he left our room. I don't know why. Okay.
Igor, we start to have many questions in the public chat.
Yes.
I think we should answer those first, and then maybe see if Gonzalo is back. I mean, he is back in the room, but he's still only listening in. I'm not sure what's there, but yeah, good point, Jean-Pierre. Because there was first of all, there was a follow-up question from Patrick Murphy. The current fisheries policy in Europe has been dramatically changed following Brexit, and countries such as Ireland has been disproportionately affected than our fellow EU states movement. Movement of fish from climate change will mean different opportunities for countries from changing migratory patterns. This will increase the possibilities. Will this increase the possibilities that fishers catching these fish will be labeled? Oh, now my window switched. Will be labeled as IUU fishers.
Thank you very much, Marius. Okay, my friends and colleagues, our time is going. We are going to the end. The main
Igor. Marius raised a question just now.
Yeah.
From Murphy, I think we should try to.
But Marius and Gonzalo is here again.
Okay. Let's do the following. Igor, will the video close, or will this the webinar close automatically in a bit? Okay, then let's do it like this. We can either, if Jean-Pierre or Alex, or I don't know who wants to answer the Alex, you want to answer the question of Patrick Murphy quickly, and then maybe we can give Gonzalo the chance to do his presentation. And then afterwards, the rest of the questions we can export the chat. Leave us just your contact, or contact us afterwards, and we will answer this maybe. But Alex.
Absolutely, yes.
Just to say, the CFP itself has not been changed. Like the bulk of the policy, the way it's been implemented, maybe after the Brexit. But just what I wanted to say, like you are mentioning a very specific issue actually, which would be unregulated fishing. So this will be for EU and as well regional fisheries management organizations to adapt, how they regulate those species. Each and every year they gather and they decide about the stocks and who can do what with species. I think I'm just going to stop here, but you were addressing the topic of unregulated fishing. So I'd suggest you dig into this part to learn more about the topic, and happy to answer further questions on the side afterwards.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. So, Gonzalo, can you hear us and see? Gonzalo?
No, Gonzalo said that his microphone is still off. So unless we have somebody else from Siena, maybe we could share with the participants the PDF from Siena at the end, distribute it.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing because we will not solve it, I guess, in the times we're at 10 a.m. right now.
Marius,
yeah.
So we can't get Gonzalo now because of his microphone or some technical issues.
Exactly. I don't know whether it's on his side or on the administration side of it, but he's only in the room as a listener.
No, we see him, and it means that he is a speaker and he has a possibility to be seen of us and to be listened. Yes, but why is the situation? I don't know, because he has no microphone. I don't know why. Yes, I can see his present. I can show his presentation. Yes.
Well, but Igor, I think we should share maybe just the slides. We can go through it, but I think it would be quite nice if Gonzalo actually had the possibility to say something about it as well. Yes. I think otherwise.
Yes,
So I think
we have a question from Mrs. Gautret Le Goff asking. This is for you, Igor. will you regularly offer webinars to inform on progress of the project until 2025? So
Yes,
maybe you can
Yes.
explain.
yes. So we can't, according our regulations, we can't do it much more longer, and that's why I would.
Oh, Igor, sorry to interrupt, but Gonzalo is just asking if Nicholas, he's in the room as well, apparently can be given the presenter role. Maybe it works for him for the audio.
Because
Yeah,
because
finish,
according to
Igor.
our regulations, we can do it just a little bit longer, but not so much. Yes, Marius.
Yeah.
Nicholas is in the room or not?
Let me quickly check.
Maybe Igor, just to answer to Mrs. Gautret-Legoff, you can mention that there will be 3 webinars each year over the 3-year duration of the project. So.
Yeah, no, I can't find him right now.
So Nicholas isn't in the room.
No, he isn't there, and he is also on with his webcam. But
Okay,
also for him, it only shows.
Nicholas, can you hear us?
Can you say something? Can we hear you? No, we're not hearing you as well. Okay. I think.
Nicholas, just a moment. Nicholas, say something, please.
No.
No, it doesn't
Nope.
work. And it's not so good, but nothing to do. So then I would like to suggest that we will do it next time, because we will do it we will do it on a constant pace. And now I would like to introduce Mr. Jörg Tuchen, who is, because Benedikt Grütz couldn't come, but Mr. Jörg Tuchen, our chair of the Board of Climate Action, will come to word and present our gifts for our distinguished speakers. Yes, Jörg. Jörg? Okay. Jörg, are you here? No, Jörg isn't here, but I will, sorry, just a moment. I will show you very,
sorry, Igor, can you hear me now?
Gonzalo?
Nicholas speaking. Okay, I thought this this webinar platform had something against Portuguese speakers, but that's not the case. Apparently, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, everyone, but yeah, glad you can hear me and I can jump in. If we have time, I can do the presentation in 2 minutes because we're already past time.
We have 2 minutes.
That's fine. We have a short presentation anyways, and that way the participants can know just a bit about Siena and our role in this project. So if you can go to the next slide, please. I'll quickly go through it. Siena is a Portuguese NGO focused on marine conservation. So we're based in the Algarve in southern Portugal, and our main focus are issues of marine conservation and marine literacy for the public. So we focus mainly on issues like overfishing, illegal fishing, aquaculture, marine pollution, etc. And we have a wide array of partners in Portugal and elsewhere that with whom we work on these issues. If you could go to the next slide, please. So we have 3 main pillars, like I was saying. So you can see some of the projects that we are involved in and have been involved in. So we do a bit of advocacy around the fisheries issues. We are part of Ponco Pesca, which is the Portuguese platform for NGOs that work on fisheries. And we have, aside from the advocacy issues, we also try to collaborate with local fishing communities, particularly with small-scale fishing ones, like the ones we are targeting with the FishX project. So, for example, we have the project Valmais in the bottom left, which was a project that was trying to create a series of criteria for small-scale fisheries to basically allow stakeholders to determine if a small-scale fishery is sustainable or not, and then provide suggestions for how this fishery can improve itself on a sustainability criteria, basically. Then on marine pollution and renewable energies. Sorry, if you can stay on the same slide, sorry. Yes, thank you. We were part of a big movement in Portugal to cancel contracts that were established to drill for oil in Portuguese waters, which was a successful endeavor. And then we are now very much focused in the issue of deep sea mining from the Oceano Livre campaign, which you can see on the bottom. Portuguese is a major player in this because of the Azorian waters, where deep sea mining is a possibility there. And then, of course, like most NGOs, we also do education and awareness events. We have 2 annual events, a film festival and an art festival, both dedicated to ocean conservation. So if you can go on to the last slide, just about our role in the project. So our main role will be to showcase and to gather data for the Insight platform. So we'll be contacting and engaging local small-scale fishing communities to join the project, to allow us to monitor their activity, to feed data into the platform, and fine-tune how this tracking will happen. We'll also monitor and contact with these communities throughout the project to make sure that the devices are being well used and any problems are met or resolved quickly. Then we'll also work with ours to map the supply chain. So after these fishing products come on shore, to map where do they go, how are they being commercialized, and how can we communicate this information with the consumers. So that's it from our side. Again, sorry for the technical problems. But
thank you very much. Very much, Nicholas, and sorry for such a delay. And but now I would like to say thank you very much. And every of our distinguished speakers will get such a tree certificate that confirms that in Africa, at our UTEC program, special program, Climate Action Partnership, it has been planted a tree for Alexander Cornet, for Jean-Pierre Kozak, for Gonzalo Cavaglia, Jonas Wendt, Mario Selta, Simon van der Wulf, Nicolas Blanc. You get it per mail from my side in a half an hour, and I am very, very glad that our first webinar was so successful. Thank you very much for perfect presentations. We will do this work further, and we will, on a constant basis, inform all the stakeholders about the project, how it will be going on. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.